Hi, thanks for visiting Damp Surveys, independent damp surveyors based in London. Damp surveys were set up to improve the accuracy of damp diagnosis and its treatment. The science of water movement is complex. Water vapour and rain are the two most common causes of damp. Both can create the illusion of rising damp. The chemical industry has encouraged UK homeowners to believe that rising damp is common and that the best treatment for a damp wall is chemical injections. This simply is not true. The best long-term solution is always to identify and stop the root cause of damp. Rising damp is where groundwater is absorbed up a wall. Rising damp does exist, but is exceptionally rare and certainly not found in London, where groundwater is pumped out of the ground to a level about 65 metres below ground level. I'm Simon Hichens, a RICS qualified expert witness and damp and timber surveyor. I have decided to make it my mission to correct the epidemic of rising damp misdiagnosis. I have investigated over 2,000 damp walls, all previously damp-proofed, all incorrectly diagnosed by a damp-proofing contractor as having rising damp, and all found to be caused by something other than rising damp. I would say it can take a very long time to identify the root causes of damp, so I don't entirely blame damp-proofing contractors. Probably half the time I think to myself, surely they know it isn't rising damp, and profit is clearly the motivation. Then the other half of the time I think to myself, if I didn't have the experience, I would find it difficult to identify the root cause of damp, and maybe in such cases damp proofers honestly believe that rising damp is the cause of damp. So, ignoring instances of clear profiteering, I have to think to myself, why are damp proofers getting it wrong so often? Simplistically, I think it's because insufficient time is given to tracing the root cause, and that therefore there's a lack of experience in tracing damp back to its root cause. Also, there is unwillingness to look at the neighbour's side of a damp wall or under a wall in the subfloor void. There's also a mistaken belief that rainwater on ground acts in the same way as groundwater and therefore should be stopped within a wall rather than drained away, which is the easiest thing to do and cheapest. Or a belief that rising damp can't be eliminated by checking the height of groundwater with reference to local water table, or by digging under or near a house to see if walls are in contact with groundwater. If you dig down by about a metre and the water starts to collect at the bottom, well, then you have groundwater, and there could be a risk of rising damp. It doesn't mean there is rising damp, but there is a risk. Indeed, part of the problem is that some surveyors use a process of elimination, with rising damp as the last thing on the list, making it the default where no other form of damp is found. It doesn't mean that there's rising damp, it just means they haven't found another form of dampness. Plus, there's an unwillingness to monitor moisture within a wall and humidity over time and try less invasive actions such as improvement to ventilation above or below ground floor. Whether or not you use our services, I would like to impress upon you to either work out the root cause of damp yourself, and we give some hints and tips through Thinkific, or at least find a truly independent damp surveyor with no links to damp proofing companies. Do send an email or phone. I look forward to being in contact.